Still rocking after all these years.
This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
This is it, the show that started it all. Often imitated, but never equal. From San Francisco, USA, online since 2004. It's the one and only Rock and Roll Geek Show. With the original Rock and Roll Geek, Michael Butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name's Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is Friday, August 12th, 2016, when I'm recording this show. And it is 7:07 p.m., and this is day 8. Is it day? No, it's day 9 of the Dog Days of Podcasting, where me and several other podcasters and I attempt to do a show a day for 30 days straight. And we're in day number 9, I think. We are in day number 9. I went to the Peter Wolf show last night. I drank a little too much. They were selling Tecates. And they tasted so good, I just kept ordering more. I was sitting down because it was a seated show. And I was sitting, I said, well, I'm not getting drunk off these Tecates. And they sure are tasting good. They're quenching my thirst quite nicely. And they're making this Peter Wolf concert so much more enjoyable. Sitting here, I was there with David Benda, friend of the show, Billy Rowe, guitar player for the Butlers and Jet Boy, Craig Bearhorse, guitar player for the Butlers and formerly of the Ruffians, and Eric Lannon, former drummer of American Heartbreak and former drummer of the Butlers. There were 5 super geeks. I am, of all these guys, I'm probably in 4th place of geek knowledge of rock. Eric and Craig and Billy, at least Eric and Billy, blow me away in rock and roll knowledge. So it was a geek fest. We were sitting down at the table ourselves. There was a lot of old people in the crowd, of course, because it was seated show and it's Peter Wolf solo. But it was so good, man. And I was sitting down the entire time. And the beers, like I said, the beers tasted so good. I wasn't really getting a buzz. So I said, every time the waitress came by, I said, yeah, I'll take another Tecate. And they were $6 a piece. I ended up ordering like 6 of them. And the show was so fucking great, man. He played I didn't think it was, I had a feeling it was going to be way mellow. But I was not disappointed. I was disappointed if I was hoping it was going to be mellow. I was not disappointed because for a guy in his 70s like Peter Wolf is, he's starting to show his age, and he started off wearing sunglasses, and you know what I say about guys who wear sunglasses on stage, not rock and roll. But I realized why he was wearing them, not because he's insecure about the crowd, is because he didn't want anybody to see his eyes because he's starting to look old. But he took his sunglasses off, and I thought he looked great. And then he took off his sunglasses, did a sunglasses changed to some prescription glasses. They look like they were some, what do you call those when they get darker as it gets lighter? Not progressive. Maybe they are progressive. It does not. Oh, transitions. That's what they're called. Anyway, he looked great for over 70. I think he's dyeing his hair. And at one point, I thought maybe he had a toupee, but he didn't. He was dancing all over the place. He said so many great things between songs. Guy is the best frontman of all time. I think Billy and Craig and Eric were a little bit skeptical before the show started. And when they left, all 5 of us were walking out of that place, geeking out on Peter Wolf, saying how great of a show that was. It lasted 2 hours, and it seemed like about a half hour. It was so fucking good. He played a few J. Geils songs at the end. He played probably played half of the new album, which I was hoping he wouldn't do because the new album is mellow, but damn, they fucking sounded great live, man. He played played like 3 songs from Midnight Souvenirs, which is a fantastic album. He played Lights Out, Dance, 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 Lights Out, Dance. It was just so good, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I left. I had to go buy a T-shirt. That's how much I enjoyed it. They had a good vintage one that said Peter Wolf, the Ooba Gooba. or something like that. The Oofa Goofa with the green teeth. So I ended up spending a lot of money, but I had a great time with some good friends who were more rock fans than me. So it was a good time. All right. I have a Cheap Trick show review that I'm going to play for you that I have not listened to.
Hey, Michael Butler, how you doing?
I am super great.
This
Could
is
not be
Rock
better.
and Roll Zach.
Zach Erlacher. How you doing, Zach? I'm super great. Couldn't be better.
With the third concert report of the week. Following
He sent me this audio coming a long time ago. I've been so backed up, and the first one he sent me a he sent me a Billy Idol, and I think he sent me a Dweezil Zappa too.
And Billy Idol and Dweezil Zappa with the best concert for last.
Yes, there
that
you
was
go.
Cheap Trick playing at Traverse City Cherry Festival.
They played the Cherry Festival. Rock and Roll Hall of Famers playing the Cherry Festival. That's okay.
The opening act was a local guy, Kenny Olson.
I don't know who
playing
that
some
is.
blues guitar, hard
Okay.
rock stuff. Honestly, wasn't that exciting, so I went and got a beer. Beer selection was miserable. In fact,
Uh-oh.
the only beer they were serving was Petoskey Cherry Ale, which sounded
Oh, it was
really
the Cherry Festival. Cherry beer. No, that sounds... I'm not a fan of the fruity beers. They seem to... well, speaking of beers, I after the 6 beers I had, when I got home, first thing I did was tripped walking through the door and realized that I was pretty buzzed. I think I drove home a little bit too inebriated to drive. Thank God I did not get pulled over. I was fine driving, but once I walked in the house, I was a little bit buzzed. And I was craving another Tecate, so I popped open a Tecate. And as soon as I laid down to catch up on Vice Principals, the room started spinning. And I just left that Tecate that I took a couple sips from and hoped that the room would stop spinning. But yeah, a cherry ale doesn't sound that great, Zach.
awful. And then they had Blue and Blue Light. So
What's Blue?
being Canadian, I had a
Oh,
Blue,
Labatt's.
but I'll be honest
They call that's right. In Canada, they call Labatt's blue and Labatt's blue. I like Labatt's. I like it.
with you, it's not the best beer around.
I like it.
My wife and I had second row seats, which
Nice.
are actually a pretty good deal.
That probably means that Robin Zander sang to your wife. That's my guess, anyway. He likes to do that to people in the front.
A venue like Traverse City, and
Where's
the
Traverse
band
City?
came out at about 9 o'clock.
Now, I'm going to
started
interrupt
with the
Zach
usual-
again. I get a lot of Cheap Trick show reviews on this show. If you're a Dog Days of Podcasting listener, thanks for listening, first of all. But if you never listen to the Rock and Roll Geek Show, I get a lot of Cheap Trick show reviews because Cheap Trick is my favorite band in the entire world.
Opener, which is Hello There, followed by
Yeah.
Just Got Back.
Just got back. I've been gone too long. That's a good one. They don't play that often. What's Just Got Back on? Is that on Heaven Tonight? I don't know.
Hey Man, On Top of the World, Baby
Wait a
Loves
minute. Whoa. Hold on. Wait. Let me back it up a little bit.
Opener, which is Hello There,
Hello
followed
there.
by Just Got Back.
Just Got
California Man, On Top.
Going to a party. I'm on top of the world. You're on top of the world, and you can't get any higher.
The World, Baby Loves to Rock.
My baby loves to all day long. I'm thinking about. Okay.
And Taxman, Mr. Thief.
Ah, that's a good one. Taxman, Mr. Thief.
I shot some video, so over at guitarvibe.com, there's 3 different songs I
There you
recorded.
go. GuitarVibe.com.
Next up was Never Had a Lot to Lose.
I never
and
had a lot to lose now, honey. Never had a. I can't do Robin Zander. That guy's the best singer in the world. By the way, if there, look for a video of him singing Nazareth's "Love Hurts" with Nancy Wilson from Heart, or excuse me, with Ann Wilson from Heart. It shows why Robin Zander is the best singer in the world. Ann Wilson didn't sing her parts that great, but damn, Robin Zander sang great on it.
The House is a Rockin' from Dream Police.
There you go.
I would say that the band was in great shape.
That's a pretty good set. You know, sometimes they'll play a greatest hits set, but sometimes they'll. That doesn't sound like a greatest hits set, so that's good. It was a headliner. That's why.
Before live, so obviously there's
Oh, you
always
never
a lot
seen
of
them?
energy.
I'm sorry to keep interrupting, but that's what I do on the Rock and Roll Geek Show. Pardon me, I'm burping this fine Tecate, which, by the way, This is my third Tecate of the day, and you know what they say about the third one of the day? It is always the best. I've seen like I said, I've seen Cheap Trick about, shit, it's got to be close to at least 50 times in my life, I think, at least.
Cheap Trick. Robin Zander's voice is fantastic.
Best singer in the world.
Rick Nielsen's run around like a madman, changing guitars.
Underrated guitar player, as everybody knows.
Song, and the rhythm section, super solid. Okay, I know that Dax, Rick's son, is on drums, and that's not Bunny Carlos, but it seems to work. And Tom Peterson on bass, he's just a fantastic bass player.
Yes, of course.
Then they went into a couple of new songs off the album Bang Zoom Crazy Low, which I think is a great album.
I disagree with you, Zach. I think it's a mediocre album. I think it's got a great sound, and it's got a great rock. I hate this word vibe, but it's got a great rock vibe to it. But I don't think the songs are that great. I think the songs could be a lot better.
The In Crowd and
that's a cover.
Direction Home.
No Direction Home. How's No Direction Home go? Is that the one, the David Bowie type one? No, that's When I Wake Up Tomorrow. Let me see. What is No Direction Home? Let's see if I can find that. Let's see, old cheap da 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 da. Oh, here's No Direction Home. How's this one? All right, that's a good. This is a good one. I like this one. All right, that's a good one. That's a classic Cheap Trick sound. Probably the best song on the album.
I've heard a few more songs from the new album. I think it's a terrific album and probably the best thing they've done since the 70s.
I disagree totally with you, Zach, but that's okay. That's why we're all rock and roll geeks, because we can disagree on what the best Cheap Trick song is. So. It's definitely not their best album since the 70s, and that's a fact. But we're all entitled to our opinions.
You might disagree with that.
By the way, I'm fried right now. I'm getting ready to go upstairs and watch the Giants game and eat some boiled peanuts that I just made, and probably pass out before the first inning's over.
But it was still a pretty cool album. Next up was the Ballad of TV Violence.
Oh, that's
and
a
then
good one.
A bass solo featuring Tom Peterson on his 12-string Gretsch bass.
Yes.
I don't know what it would be like to play a 12-string bass. I guess it's guitar strings slightly below the bass strings, but it sounds complicated, and he made it sound super awesome.
They are, I'm pretty sure they're all tuned to the same note. They're just different octaves. I used to have an 8-string bass, a Hagstrom 8-string bass, and that son of a bitch would not stay in tune. I had to get rid of it because I could never play it because it just didn't sound good. When those 3 strings aren't in tune together, it sounds like garbage. But he plays a 12-string great. So basically, it's 4 sets of 3, and all 3, and so the 3 strings are all tuned to the same note, but different octaves, I guess you could say.
Even though I play bass, I mean, honestly, to me, a bass solo comes lower in priority to a drum solo.
Yeah, well,
but he did a really good job with it.
Yes, he did, because he
and
sang
then they went
right
into
after.
a cover version of the Velvet Underground's
Waiting for My
Man
Yes,
with
always do
Peterson
that.
on vocals. He did a great job, and it was really one of the highlights of the show. Then they went into the ballad, The Flame, and then some of the big hits, I Want You to Want Me and Dream Police, followed by an
Greatest
encore,
hits.
which was Surrender. I think Surrender is just an awesome song.
Of course, it's a fantastic
Everybody
song.
was up on their feet for pretty much the entire show.
Well, that's good because a lot of times they'll play stuff for the super fans, and everybody in the audience is sitting down because they're casual Cheap Trick fans. So I'm glad everybody was up for the entire show.
They're just it was awesome. And then finally on Good Night, Rick Nielsen brought out his crazy 50-pound quintuple neck.
He used to play it on Surrender. This is a little fun fact for you. He used to play it on Surrender, but the thing weighs so much, he only plays it on the end of the very end of the set now. And Goodnight now is it's like a 1.5-minute song, so that's why he plays it on that
guitar. And that was pretty cool. You could see him struggling with carrying that thing around. I don't know how you do that without throwing your back out, but it was an awesome show. As I mentioned, there's a couple of videos and photos and some details on GuitarVibe.com.
GuitarVibe.com.
It was a great show.
Go there and
other than the fact that the beer wasn't super. Overall, it was 90 minutes, and they have enough hits they could have played for at least another hour.
Well, they definitely have enough great tunes.
Loved that. Michael, I know you've seen Cheap Trick lots of times, but for listeners out there who haven't seen them live, you really got to see it. It's a wonderful band, ton of energy.
Greatest band in the
world.
world.
Just rocking. Okay, that's it for me. Have a good day, Michael.
All right, thanks.
And
You
stay frosty.
Stay frosty, friend. You too can leave me an audio comment. You can call area code 706-621-ROCK. That's area code 706-621-7625. Or you can do like Zach Urlacher did and record an MP3 and email it to me, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. You can find me. That's going to do it for this one tonight. You can find me at rockandrollgeek.com. Any way you can spell it, that'll take you to my website, rockandrollgeek.com. Find me on the Facebook, R&R Geek. Find me on the Twitter, R&R Geek. Find me on the Instagram, Rock and Roll Geek. Don't ask. I'll talk to you tomorrow, friends. Tomorrow morning, I'm interviewing Bridget West. She was in a band called the New York Loose, and now she's just Bridget West and the Desperate Hopefuls. We're going to do a track by track of her new album, and I'm a little nervous because, well, I've actually had her on the show twice, but I'm still nervous because I'm probably the biggest Bridget West fan in the entire world, and this girl, I think, is a major talent, and not only that, she's absolutely beautiful as well. So a beautiful girl with major talent, that's something to be afraid of, friends. All right. Did that sound sexist? It was not meant to be sexist. It's just this girl, I mean, all of her, I'm a huge super fan. I'm interviewing her at like 9 a.m. because she's in London or England, somewhere in England, a suburb of London, I think. And I'm in San Francisco, which is 8 hours earlier. I hope it's 8 hours earlier because I got to get my time right. So I'm going to be interviewing her super early in the morning. I'll be a little bit tired. I won't be able to drink beer, so I'll be pretty nervous. I'm actually looking forward to talking to her. She's got a new album that's coming out, and we're going to do a track by track of it. It's a Pledge album, and it's coming out real soon. It is I just started listening to it intensely today because every time I'm going to interview somebody, if they're a musician, I'll cram on their latest music, and I'll just geek out on that artist. Pardon me, I'm bourbon this fine Tecate. Third one of the day, always the best. And I will, binge listen, as they say. And so I binge listened to the new album, and I studied the lyrics, the music. I really, really, really like this album a lot. I think it might be my favorite thing that she's ever done. And that New York Loose Year of the Rat album is a classic album in my opinion. So this one, I think I might like this one better. So I'm going to play something off of that before we get out of here, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, friends. I doubt I will post the Bridget West episode probably till Monday. So tomorrow I'll do another Rock and Roll Geek Dog Days episode. We'll talk to you tomorrow, friends. Oh, hold on. This song is called Close to Defeat off the new Bridget West album, which is going to be called From New York with Love. Let me back it up and start it over here.
I've been here before. So many times I ain't keeping score. defeat. I'm in rags I've outgrown, my soul in tatters cut to the bone. It's like I've been worn in. You gotta face it, I ain't giving in. It's a blessing and a curse. It's why I carry an empty purse, drinking bottles full of blame. I empty them out, fill them up again. When I'm close to defeat, the engine keeps turning over. When I'm low on belief, I always seem to cross over. Here I stand with my heart in my hand. Here I stand close to defeat. Maybe it's a sacrifice, living every moment on thin ice, but I never think twice. When I'm close to defeat, the engine keeps turning over. When I'm low on belief, I always seem to cross over. And here I stand with my heart in my hand. Here I stand, here I am, and I still stand close to defeat.
It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.